Hey YouTube, I'm Adam. This is R2D2's top dome. I'm going to be modeling this in Fusion 360. Let's give it a crack. So quite a while ago I promised my wife that I would build her a full-size R2D2 robot. That took a back burner and was on the plans for a very long time. I had a couple of other robotics projects that I wanted to have a look at doing, other full-size models, and very quickly realised that I need to get R2 out of the way so that I don't upset the wife, because as everyone knows, happy wife, happy life. So for the domes, I managed to get my hands on a couple of these IKEA pendant lamps. Now they are 450 millimeters in diameter and perfectly hemispherical, which actually makes them a good size or a good starting point for an R2 dome, but not movie accurate. R2's dome is actually a little bit more bullet shaped, but you got to work with what you've got. It's about $500 to buy a movie spec dome. I don't have that kind of money. I managed to pick up two of these domes on Gumtree quite cheaply, and am going to be using those. So start off with in Fusion 360. That's the top view. Let's go down in the front. First off, we're going to model the dome. So sketch, arc, center point on that plane, and we're going to go out, and it's 225. And then we'll go up 90 degrees. Yeah, I've stuffed that up already. On the line, up 90. And that part there. Alright, so if we grab that curve and just run an offset on that, and I'm going to bring it down -1 mm, that's how thick the walls are. Zoom in here, we'll go alpha line, and do the same there. And that should give us a profile that we can then revolve. But all that is the actual dome. So for my plan, I actually want to 3D print some cutting guides. I've been looking at how to do it manually, and it looks a lot more complicated than you'd think it is. So I'm now going to offset again. Let's get rid of that tool, click that line, offset, and this time I'm going to come out 5 mm. And we'll tidy up these lines again. From there to there. So now we've got our two arcs there, and we'll stop that sketch. So to first get the dome, we will go to revolve, and I want to revolve that curve, and we're going to revolve it around that axis. Make it full and a new body, and OK. So that gives us one dome. If we turn that sketch back on, we'll get rid of that one. So that gives us our inner dome. That's the one that's actually going to be the product. But to get the guides, we need to do a second one as well. So we go revolve, same story. Select the axis as being that one. As a new body, OK. Now we can hide that sketch. So you can't see it there, but there's actually two. And we can get rid of both of those for the time being. So I do have the legacy plans here from the R2D2 Builders Club. They are all in inches. I work in millimeters. That's fine. Fusion actually makes that fairly simple for me. So the first thing we're going to focus on is getting that top part there all cut out and ready to go. But before we do that, these lampshades actually have a hole cut in the middle of it. That is 59 millimeters in diameter. So if I turn on those two bodies, we can now go extrude on sketch 2. Let's hide those for a second, grab that, turn those back on, expand those out, they're going to cut, and that's just going to go into space. Make sure you select objects to cut as body 1 and 2. So that is a representation of the actual dome that I have. That gives us a really good place to start off from. But if we get rid of those and front top view, and now we will do another sketch on that plane. This is a fairly arbitrary number, so we'll go out 400 and just keep it tidy. I like to have that vertical. Now if we look at the planes, that gives us the sizes of the where the panels are going to go from the top down in inches. So if we start out here with a new circle, so the outside one is 10.938 inches. Then we come into 5.375 inches. 4.219. 250 inches, and 0.4338 inches. So those are the circles to mark out where the tops are going to be. We know that from the plans here that the segments are separated by 0.312 inch spacings, and that they can be totally vertical. So I'll just hit alpha line. It's going to go between there and there. And we can see it's got the constraint there to be vertical. Just get rid of that, make that one construction. So now that's just a line in space more than anything else. That's not relevant. And we'll chuck another couple of lines on here. Their spacing doesn't need to be bang on. And what we can do now is, by using constraints, D for dimension, that one to that one, and we're going to make that 0.312 inches. Now we call the symmetry that one and that one. We want to be symmetrical with that. And that's wrong. Okay, so here we have the circles that are going to be the basis of the panels for the top of R2's dome. We'll just come down here and go alpha line, connect those two dots there. Get out of that tool, chuck that one on. Now that already has the horizontal vertical constraint added to it. So we will just make that a construction line, and then we're going to fix that one in place. So now no matter what we do around that line, that's not going to move. So now we'll chuck in an extra line. These two can be fairly arbitrary on their distances, because we're going to use the symmetry tool to square that up. So that one and that one, I want to be symmetrical to that line. Because we fixed that in place, it's not going to go anywhere. So now using D for dimension, we can grab those two and put in the spacing of 0.312 inches. So with that gets us started. We know that there's 6 panels. So we then go create for the circular pattern. That one, hold control to get that one as well. And our center point's going to be there. And we're up to 6. Okay. Looking good. Let's get rid of that one there. Let's hide those constraints. Now, the one tool that I wish I'd found earlier when I moved from SketchUp to Fusion is this tool here. And we've missed a spot there, so that line didn't connect all the way down. We grab that one and connect it there, and we'll make that coincident to that. When I moved from SketchUp to Fusion, the way that things happen on SketchUp is a whole lot different. And the one tool I wish I got told about earlier is the trim tool, which is the shortcut of T. Just helps you tidy up your sketches a little bit and helps with your extrusions later on. Now that that's done, we can stop that sketch. Rotate. Now going to extrude that one, holding control, selecting all 6 of those. We'll turn the bodies on. Come up, arbitrary heights. Make sure bodies 1 and 2 are set for that. And there we have the top of R2's dome. So now for the next part was the part I found most challenging. I did try a few different ways of how not to do it. So hopefully we can avoid all that this time around. Hide those, see if circle on there. And we're just going to come out 500 this time. So the plans you can see here indicate all these angles that the points are cut at, which makes it really easy to do in CAD, but following them in person doesn't really give you a great way to go because these lines here don't follow those angles, they are straight. So looking at the plans here, I can see that a lot of the panels here have a lip at the bottom of 0.172 inches. That one there does not. All of these ones do. And then those ones will come to in a moment. So I'm actually going to change the plane of the sketch. turn my origin on. I'm going to select that one. Now we're going to bring it up the required 0.172 inches. So I turn my origin off. There we go. Now if we go seek for circle, stick that one out there, we'll go 500. So if we turn down there, you can see there's my base origin, and we've come up the however far 0.172 inches translates to in order to get the bases of our cuts correct. So now adding in all of these radians here to give us our wedges. I start off with a line out to 250, and our first one is 12.5. I'm going to add in all of these and I'll talk to you once I'm done. Alright, I'm back. I've got all my guidelines in. I've tidied up the constraints a little bit and made all of these points coincident with the outside of the circle. So if I need to adjust that circle size at all, it should move everything else with it. Even if I want to take that out to 600, and it goes up and down as it needs to. So now all of these little pie wedges actually represent the windows on R2's body. So if I pull the plans back up here, let's start at plan away. So we've lifted up this plane 0.172 inches. We now need to go up 2.062 inches, and that will cut the window. Now this is only doing the cutting guides for the external dome, so the idea is that this dome will have a lot of holes cut out of it, then there'll be another dome that goes inside it that supports the overlying structure. So all the little blue panels and things like that will actually stick to the inner dome, and the inner dome has far less holes. But I'll do another video on that when I get to it. So if we start off with that section, that one we looked at was section AA, panel 1. So looking at the plans, section A, panel 1 is, if we go from that one, 16, 17, that panel there. So that is panel 1, but looking at some other ones here, some other plans, we have It's the only one that does that cut. So I'll rock that one down that way. I'll go modify, turn my bodies back on. And we're just going to lift that up with cut 2.062 inches. Okay, let's cut the first window. So get our sketch back on. So panel B is going up. Oh, that one's the one that's going up the same amount. And that's that one there. Distance 2.062 inches. So now at section D, which is going to be panels 16, 15, 6, 5, 4, and 3. That looks right. Modify that one with a cut as well, and that one there is actually going to go up 3.063 inches. As you can see, it's starting to look more and more like them already. Panel 7 and 8. We will come back to that one, that's on a different height. Panel 9, let's jump back to my top view there. Panel 9 is going to come up 3.375 inches. Now we get a little bit tricky here because of how the lines work. So we're going to go from the 90, which is that one there, around to that one, and select all of these. So that is the cutaway for panels 10 and 11. The other lines are there for a different height, which for this one, because there's so much, I choose to put the lines in just to make it easier for me to make sure I don't miss anything. And then for the other ones, we'll just put in the lines we need. So I'll modify that one. And we're coming up 3.063 inches. Oh, this takes some thinking to get your head around. Let's come back the other way. I do appear that I've missed a line. So let's just jump back into sketch 5. Hide that sketch. Yeah, the sketch. Hide the bodies. That's always good advice, isn't it? Hide the bodies. I'm 300 and 172.5. So now we can turn the bodies back on. Okay, that one, that one, that one, and that one. That looks better. That is 12, 13, and 14, which is the large logic display, and that is going to come up by 3.063 inches. Section K, which is this one down here, oh, 63 inches. Okay. And then that gets us onto the drilling. Alright, so now we're just going to work our way up. If we get rid of the sketch, that's looking very close. So jumping back to the plans here, we've got this section here, which is panels 7 and 8, which is these two here. They start off at just under half an inch up. So we'll hide the bodies again. Construct an offset plane, offset from that one. And this time we're going to come up 0.487 inches. The reason I keep saying inches to myself is to remind me to put those measurements in. Because I work in millimeters, I often wind up reducing everything to a 25th of its intended size. So to make sure we capture our offset plane, put in a circle with arbitrary diameter again. Actually, let's go 600 this time. This is the one that goes from 14 degrees to 26 degrees. Stop the sketch, modify that. Now this first hole is going to be 2.688 inches. That looks good. Put those, we just need another offset plane now. Turn my horizon back on, get that one. And this time we're going to come up 3.375. Now this one again is between the 14 degrees and the 26 degrees. Stop the sketch, grab that one. And that one has a height of 0.656. Alright, so those are all the box sections cut out. That is what I deem to be potentially the easy part. Now to get onto the tricky part, what can be the tricky bit is putting in the circle holes. So there's probably a better way to do this, but I haven't found one, so I'll show you the solution that I came up with. So there's the two profiles we're going to be working on here. Is that one there, it comes up about 2 inches, and then it's tangential to the dome face, and then that one there is 4 inches on the center point. I'll get rid of those again. Construct an offset plane. And because we're coming up, we're going to offset from that one. And for the first one, we are going to come up 1.969 inch. That looks good. Usual story, C for circle. Let's get our 600 diameter circle going in there. And that one is section I. Now, section I is the one on the 101.5 line. Right this round. And so that point in space, we just want to put a circle on there. So what we'll do is we'll come back to the top, C for circle, come out and see how it snaps to there. And you need to be careful because I actually want it to snap to the inside dome, not the outside. So we'll get rid of body 2. So that's just the inside. So this is what the actual dome is going to look like. If we just zoom in a little bit, we can get right to there. And that looks about right. So now if we make a plane tangent to face, face there, cancel. Why are they not matching up? Let's get rid of that origin again. You tell people yelling at me. Alright, so we got there. So now we'll go to construct tangent face point, face and point. Okay. And now I want to draw a circle on that plane. And that point, and that circle is going to be 2.625. 625 inch. That had the wrong center point. Let's try it again. 2.625. That's better. So the reason we did it that way is if we did it on body 2, which is on the outside of that, and basically we want the inside of body 2 to be a perfect match for the outside of body 1. So moving the tangent out, things like that, all sort of stacks up and increases error. Now this time here we're going to modify that, turn on the body. Let's do that. Turn body 2. We'll go 10 mil. And this time we're going to make it symmetric. That's 10mm inside, 10mm outside. That's going to do both of them. That gets that one done, and now we get the top one here. So once again, turn our sketches off. As you've seen before, offset plane from the top. That one, and we're going to go 4 inches. So if a circle on that plane, and we're just going to come out. I'll keep coming out 500. Keep everything 600, isn't it? Keep everything nice and uniform for the time being. And this one here is for section H, which happens to be on the H is on the 81-degree line. Then we actually get another one pop up for the same plane on the 74-degree line. So I completely understand I'm not the best at using SketchUp. Because in SketchUp I'm not the best. I completely understand I'm not the best at using Fusion 360. If you see me doing anything that there are much easier methods of getting the same job done, feel free to give me a shout. Let me know. That's how I learn. Put that circle on there. We'll turn off body 2. Did that get it right? That did not get it right, so I'll undo that. Okay, line to there. That gives us our points in space right there. Once again, construct tangent to face. I always pivot around just to make sure that I am looking at the right thing. Been too many occasions that I've not, and it's come back to bite me. So these circles here are 0.75 inch. And cut that just the same as before. Symmetric, turn on body 2, and we're going to go 10mm. Now for the second one, we're going to go for another tangent at face point, face and point. That's right. Oh, 0.75 inch. And now we will extrude that one as well. Got body 2 too, no, that's why I can't see it. Distance 10, symmetrical, turn on 2. Okay, so that's the basis of our R2 dome. I will be progressing on this now that I've got that one there. Let me go to these sketches. Now that I've got my model of what I want my dome to be at the end and the overlay, I can now cut this one up to make it the right size to fit on my 3D printer, run them off, stick them to the original, and then use that as my cutting guides, which is what this has all been about. So I think that'll do it for now. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, let me know where I can improve with my fusion skills. Let me know what you think of the videos. This will be a ongoing channel for the R2 build and a few other projects I've got up my sleeve and things I want to do. So let me know what you like. Feel free to subscribe and share the video. Thank you. Bye.